Christy Whitman. Welcome to the Fieldswell Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Lauren. I'm really excited to have a conversation with you. We were having fun before you pushed record, so.
We were. I said, okay, let's get into it. Let's just start recording so we can, provide some value and insight for our listeners. You are a New York Times bestselling author and transformational leader on a mission to help others feel more aligned with the divine design of well-being, abundance, and success. And I am so excited to learn
Yes,
more
I
about your
am.
energy work because it's a unique approach that many of us are eager to explore.
Yeah, there's more and more people that are starting to understand that everything is energy. And more people are, since the secret boomed back in, what was it, 2008, around that time, 2007,
Yeah.
people started to become more aware, and now there are more teachers that are out and available and feel safer to teach what they teach. And so it's getting into media and how people will reference an energy healer. It's now in the NFL, how like Tom Brady would recommend it, or we'd talk about his energy healer.
Yeah.
So it's behind the scenes a lot with successful people like actors and actresses, businessmen, moms that have to do a lot. I mean, it's for every single one of us knowing how to master this thing called energy. What is it? And if I have access to it, then, and I'm creating with it, I might as well just put my focus on what I actually want and not what I don't want.
That's a big one. Yeah. Everything is energy. And so how do we tap in and tune into our energy to call in that which we desire?
That's exactly it. So one of my books, The Desire Factor, talks about how energy sets up and what are the actual steps that we, as human beings need to be doing in the process of manifesting what we desire.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that. But to start, let's explain more what it means that you are a channel for the council. How did your journey start and what does it mean to be connected to source?
Well, those are two very meaty questions right there. But you got a minute?
Yes.
Yeah. So I started hearing guidance since I was a kid, very, very early on. And I was typically, I didn't really start fully hearing it until it was around, was it 1999? Prince sang about that, right? It was in 1999 that I had my book literally was like, I heard someone talking in my ear.
Wow.
And and I couldn't sleep, and it was 1:05. I remember taking note. It was 1:05 in the morning, and we had the alarm clocks, that back then before we just all used our cell phones. And I got up and went into my office and opened up like a journal tablet and started writing. And all of a sudden my hand just started freely. And I couldn't even keep up with it. So I was just going.
Yeah.
And my one hand was flipping the page while the other hand was just doing this. So I was just kind of like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So, but what was wild, I didn't, like, I'd wake up in the morning going, was that a dream? Did that happen? That kind of thing. But then it happened another night, and then it happened another night. So it was 7 nights in a row that happened. And so those writings, those awarenesses, those transformational tools, they all like lined up to be a book called Perfect Pictures. And so I just kept leaning in. I kept being guided to lean in, to ask the people I knew about, like, how do you get a book published? How do you grow an audience? How do you do all that stuff?
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of access to how do you do that, right? Back then there wasn't. So
before social media, right?
Oh yeah. And you had to figure it out for yourself, because there wasn't a lot of people that were helping light workers. That's what I call us, get our message out there. It was mainstream media. So you either got on Oprah or nothing, because there was no podcast. We didn't have podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I mean, it sounds almost like divine intervention. Like you couldn't even control what was happening. You're like, all I can do right now is listen, tune into this, and like write and get this story and like whoever is speaking to me, whatever is speaking to me, onto paper.
that's just it. And so I did, and started speaking on the contents of the book. And I started, people would ask me to coach them. Now, coaching for me in my mindset was like a cheerleading coach, which I actually used to be for 7th and 8th grade cheerleading, young girls, as like a mentor kind of thing. So when people would say, would you coach me? I'm like a football coach, like I no, like a life coach. And I'm like, what's that? That's that first time of hearing. So I just kind of like blocked it all out and went, okay, well, why don't you just call me and I'll help walk you through it? And because I was a pharmaceutical rep at the time, and, was doing well and doing really well by applying what I knew, through law of attraction and things like that. And I was getting clients because people were looking at me going, what are you doing? And because I was applying the universal laws that I now teach. Right. So it just all developed. I loved coaching people and having them come back with a result, because we're just talking about it. We're moving energy. And, it's truly like releasing something you're holding on to energetically, whether it's emotionally, mentally, whatever that, or somewhere in the physical body where you let it go. You bring in room for a different pocket of energy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can feel it when you're talking to someone or near someone and they're vibrating at a high vibrational frequency and they've done the energy work and they're in tune with how they're showing up.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, for our listeners, is it possible for others to connect with source? It sounds like this is some of what you help your clients do through coaching.
Well, it's not only possible, every single one of us has source within us, or we wouldn't be here, because source is life. And so, if you're here, that means, yes, you have you already are connected to source, because it's your breath. It's what's beating your heart. It's what's breathing you. It's what's doing all the stuff that while you're setting your podcast up is doing, like the breathing and the heartbeat and, all that stuff. It's not something you have to go, oh, check. I just,
like I'm alive. But what are some of the steps we could take to deepen this connection? Perhaps some of the steps that you took to eventually become counsel.
Believe it or not, it started for me with my thoughts, paying attention to what I was thinking. But if I was asked for years, and I got lost in that for a while. I was asked since, I wrote a lot of books and I did a lot of book tours, and, people would always ask me, okay, you're talking about universal energy, like laws and energy and all this stuff. How does like a person apply this in their daily life? So where do they start? And I would say, start with your words, because our words have tremendous power. And what we say, when we say something like, I can't afford it, right? That just pulls energy in, and we feel constricted and we feel bad.
Yes.
Right. Looking at something that pleases us, then we start to get entrained by, I like that, but I can't have it. And so that, like saying, I can't have what I don't want, or I can't afford that, we tend to feel like a victim. So there's just this whole consciousness of lack, right, that exists. And there's just so many directions I could go in right now.
So
but
it's scarcity versus scarcity mindset versus abundance.
Exactly.
So what is a better way to approach when we're having these limiting beliefs about ourselves, or talking, in ways that make something not seem possible? We're kind of like telling ourselves that it's not. What's a better way to approach that, or better way to express our words?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like there are words and phrases that pull your vibration down, and there are words and phrases that we use. I actually created a 30-day program. It's complimentary. You can go to watchyourwords.com. It's videos that tell you each word and phrase. I listed 30 of them that when you change the verbiage, when you change what you say, and I tell you what word of the day, why it's important to change what you're saying, and what to change it to instead. Because right there, you'll feel a vibrational difference. You're going to start to feel like you've just been put in a different direction, in a different perspective. And that once you're kind of clicked into what you do want and off of what you don't want, and that becomes the focus, you feel better, you're more relaxed, you feel safe, you feel more grounded, so if we are projecting towards a future that feels frightening or scared, or there's not enough, or whatever it may be, we're going to just be like, oh God, because we're moving towards that, and we don't want to. It doesn't feel good. Right. So, we need to watch what we say about our future, what we say about now, what we say about our past.
Yeah. And is that, of course, due to the vibrational frequency of the verbiage and the words that we use, but additionally due to the fact that perhaps our subconscious mind is listening to what we're saying, and that comes to form our belief system about what's possible?
Yeah, very well put. Exactly. Because our words represent even what we say. When we start to watch our words, or just even watch what we say to ourselves, you're going to start to learn oh my God, I know where that came from.
Yeah.
That's my mom's belief. That doesn't need to be my belief. Right. And then it's then the energy tentacles start to break away, and it's you start to return to your own wants and desires, not because someone else said you should want it, or,
a big part is taking accountability for how we treat ourselves and how we talk to ourselves. Something that I've started doing is when I wake up, look in the mirror and look myself in the eyes and say, I love you. And I know that's really hard for some people to do. And the question is, what is stopping you from loving yourself or developing a loving relationship with yourself? Because it's a big place of where this all starts, this optimism, this positivity, and this belief that whatever I do want is possible.
Well, yeah. And what's wonderful to get to over that hump and to feel really good is by letting yourself, there's a couple of ways I'm going to phrase this, by letting yourself feel compassion. And the flip side of that is when you're feeling compassion, you are also forgiving yourself, because what forgiveness is it's a letting go of what you've been holding on to. So when you start to feel compassion is very soothing. It feels like, I'm chilly and then someone hands you a warm blanket. I'm hot and someone gives you iced tea to drink, or, a glass of water. It's soothing. And to soothe ourselves, we don't have to lie to ourselves in that moment. And I think that's where a lot of people get into it's going to be fine. It's all right. I've got a positive attitude. I'm so positive. And meanwhile, they're like, I'm terrified, So it's not being in that, how do I say it? It's this really sucks, but I'm putting a smile.
Almost like toxic positivity. Like no matter what happens, I have to be positive about it.
Yes. So I heard from one of my teachers, Abraham Hicks, years ago, when I loved this expression. It's like driving in your car and all of a sudden your gas gauge goes, the light goes on. And instead of going oh, it'll be okay, and putting a happy face sticker on it, you're going to still run out of gas. Right.
Yeah.
So, and Debbie Ford used to say, whipped cream on top of poop is still poop. So that's there's another one for you. But, that whole idea that if you're suppressing how you actually feel, that's energy within you.
Yeah.
And, suppressing it down, it's going to come out some way. There's so many studies, Louise Hay's, work, and all the beautiful work that has come from that, how your body is a reflection of your thoughts and your emotions. And it all starts with your words.
Yeah, incredible. So
Yeah.
let's bring our listeners into what the law of attraction is and how they can start using it.
Okay. So for those people that have read The Secret or watched The Secret and those who have not, I'm just going to use like my description of how I have come to understand it and how I can best explain it. For me, it's an understanding that there are universal laws that exist. It's kind of like, coming here in our soul with our soul, because we are a soul. So it's another thing we could talk about forever. But coming in as a soul and embodying in a human being, this is the playground, right? And so what's the rules? What game are we playing here? Are we playing baseball? Or are we playing football? What game? And what are the rules to that game? So for me, learning about the universal laws was like, oh, okay. Now that I know the rules, all right, let's have some fun. Because before that, I felt like life was just happening and I couldn't really, you know,
Autopilot.
yeah, or focusing on what would make me happy. If I got really good grades, if I joined the pom line, if I went to college, if I got a degree, if I fell in love and got married and
Yeah.
right?
The byproduct.
Yeah. And all of that's awesome. I have that now, but genuinely, I didn't have that before. But it's like that, um, wanting things because others think we should, or it's not knowing yourself and not listening to yourself, because that's where all of your energy in this now moment, like your emotions, is communicating who you are and where you're going. And if you're feeling a negative emotion, it's guiding you to pay attention. It's like an alarm going off in your car, right? It's like the fire alarm. It's wanting to get your attention. And so by paying attention, and you don't ignore the fire alarm, you pay attention to it and go, okay, what did I just say? What thoughts am I thinking? Is that thought true? Because what a belief is, okay, I said something, I heard someone say something, I repeated it, or I resisted it. No, that's not true. So I resisted it. And then I saw evidence of it. And I'm like, well, maybe it is true. And so now it starts to become, I've seen evidence of it, therefore it is true. And until we challenge those, and not even just challenge them, but just, really just ask the question, is it true? Is it real? Is it right?
So much of our belief system comes from the story we're telling ourselves about what happened, because the past doesn't exist anymore aside from like the memory you have of it. And so I think a great way for our listeners to like check in with, is it true, is like check the story you're telling yourself and perhaps rewrite that story so that it helps you, continue on your path and doesn't keep you stuck.
Yes. Yeah. Stories, memories, those type of things. When you think about them, does it feel good to think about them? Are you thinking about something and it brings something else that triggers you? Does a song you hear on the radio, either make you really mad or make you sad or make you feel regretful or shameful or, any of those things? That just means that there's energy that's still there. That's all it means. And when you let yourself process that energy, that's, go into your emotions. That's what we teach, that, change your mindset. There's gazillions of processes and everything in the tool shed,
Yes.
So but the biggest thing is to ask yourself, okay, what do I want? What do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I want to feel? Because the feeling is what ultimately we're wanting. I want this so I can feel this, so I can feel safe. Well, instead of trying to accomplish all this before you feel safe, just allow yourself to feel what it feels to feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's aligning with the energy you wish to attract in the future state now.
Yes, exactly.
So let's perhaps give an example. Do you have an example, real life example, where you were going through a challenging time and you applied the law of attraction?
Yes. So that's just one thing I want to say. Law of attraction is always working. So law of attraction is one of those laws that is like what we send out. I was getting there with how do I define law of attraction? What we send out comes back to us. right? It's like a boomerang. What you send out comes back. It's one of those rules of the game. So what comes back? Our thoughts have frequencies, vibrations that go out and find other frequencies that match that. So pictures, images, opportunities, amounts of money, the way someone treats you, the way you treat yourself, all of it has, energetic connections, if you will. And so when we can just let ourselves find a moment of silence and grounding and connection, and once again just go, okay, what is it that I want? Why do I want it? How do I want to feel? All right, the feeling, the energy all around me, what's within me is already right now here for me. Everything I need is within me, my air and my breath. I just have to sit here and come back to my breath and just take a breath into your heart and just settle into your heart center. And just let yourself feel the calm, whether it's you want to feel safe or you want to feel grounded or you want to feel joyful or compassion. But now what you're sending out is more calming than the vibes before. There's a different frequency that gets sent out, and therefore then what comes back to you.
That's beautiful. I'm super calm and relaxed right now. Christy, wow. Another example that comes to mind is perhaps our listeners are looking to attract a romantic partner because they think they want to feel loved or they want to be in love with someone and they want love in their lives. Would an example of this law of attraction to say, okay, I'm going to be loving and display love to each individual that I meet because then I'm vibrating at the frequency of love and then I'm more likely to attract a loving partner into my life.
100%. Absolutely. So I've been helping people find, including myself, and attract through law of attraction, let's just say it that way, for 30 years, 30 years actually plus, and started teaching it about 25 years ago and I've done videos on YouTube on it. And it's not just a partner. It's not just like, and it can be. So someone that becomes your husband or wife or, lifetime partner, or, I have attracted doing this process and understanding when I was in my business, wanting someone that vibrated at the same level, and then would watch as literally the perfect person would come at that point in time to support me.
Yeah. So
the very, and I have written lists, because what I'm going to say is, the biggest thing is, again, know what you want. So if you're wanting to attract a person, I've seen people do this process to attract each other, and they are like the bestest of friends. They'll go to my retreats, and they're both were different clients that met at a retreat. Now they go to retreats together, and everybody is like, wow, the friendship they've created is just cool, because they understand how to master their own energy and how to create boundaries and, and love each other. And it's just beautiful. So the first thing I always say is, what do you want to attract in who? What form do you want this person? Is it someone that you're wanting to do something in your business? Is it someone that you're wanting to have as a love partner? Is it someone that you're wanting to have as a best friend? Like, what form do you want? And then after that, it's like, not to go too deep here, it's like, are you the teacher in this relationship? Are they teaching you? Are you teaching them? Or is it kind of equal? Because you're going to learn. Both are going to learn. Everyone's going to learn. Everyone's going to be affected. Once you're in a relationship with someone in any capacity, it was a soul divine mission, whether it lasted a minute or, your whole entire life. When we converge as souls together, it's like a divine hookup, if you will. So yeah, like what are, after the form, do you want to be the teacher? Do you want to be the student? Or do you want to be more of an equal. Like it's kind of just, you teach me, I teach you, cool. Right. And then write out, what is it that you're wanting? What qualities? What qualities do you want in a person? And hopefully on everybody's list, you know, because it is our soul's right, it is our divine design of well. I want to attract someone who is well into my life because I'm well, right?
Yeah.
And the parts of me that are maybe not well, what it could be for women in their 50s going through menopause, it could be hormonal, or it could be, you know, young girls in their 20s having whatever, or guys and, you know, going to ask a woman to get married, whatever stage anybody is in. And from a human perspective, it's like these processes can help you just calm down because you understand the rules of the game, right? So by writing down what you want, how you want to feel, we go back to what we initially talked about, you know, that feeling, that essence is here now, and you can choose it just by asking for it and in an opening.
Such an incredible process.
Thank you.
Do you believe that each soul that we, you know, meet or connect with is like someone that we were meant to come into contact with along our journey?
I believe yes and no. So it's like there are certain relationships, obviously intimate relationships, mother daughter, you know, mother son, having those kind of relationships, yes. But having the, like, for example, someone that just walks by you on a street corner, no, I don't believe that was predestined because we have free will and choice, right? So yes and no. There are some, I believe we have like a soul family, and we're but it's a big population. That's why a lot of times people say when I help them attract their ideal partner, for example, you can like soul date, you know, because there isn't just one.
Right.
You know, it's a limitation when people think that, you know, you only have this one perfect. I'm a lover of Sex and the City, the whole thing. So, you know, when Charlotte's like, there's only one perfect person, right? It's like, it's not true. Charlotte, stop it. You know, the universe is abundant, and, you know, the divine and everything that we have been created from wouldn't just give us one soul to play with on earth, right? There's there's so many that we could try on, you know?
Well said. I want to get into your book, The Desire Factor, which teaches readers about 7 universal principles as a guide to manifestation. Is there a particular principle that resonates most with you, or that you found to be really helpful or important in your life?
You know, yes, all of them. But the biggest one, and I'll say this, is the fourth process, or the fourth step. It also coincides with the 7 essential laws that I teach and train and have certified law of attraction coaches on. And that is right there, smack dab. Law number 4 is the law of sufficiency and abundance. So both of these are, they intertwine together. And so I just want to bring them both up, but there also happen to be the fourth of each one. So, when we are in a having, like we've been talking about this, when we hold the vibration of that which we want to create, or that which we say we want. I'll give a very specific example. I want more money. All right. Why do you want more money? And by the way, what's more money? $10 more money, right? But I want more money. It's not specific. It's not commanding. It's victim-y in a space, right? But it's like, okay, I want more money to do what with? I want more money so I can pay my bills. Okay, so the divine provides, right? So is that possible? Yes, it's possible, of course. The divine, my soul, the universe wants to provide for me, and I want to provide for, it's a partnership, right? That is a formula for pure success, because it's in alignment with success, which is part of our divine design. Like we were saying, wellness. I mean, you want to write down that person is well, right? And they're also successful.
Yeah.
You know, they're capable of loving and being loved. And, maybe you throw in there that they're financially independent themselves.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, these are possible things that we don't have to fix or rescue, and we can come from our soul connection, which is already fulfilled, instead of the human. We're always going to have human flaws and, stuff that come up and things we can laugh at ourselves about because we're human, and things we need to be accountable for and all that. But at the end of the day, we're a soul having a human experience, and we're here for a short period of time.
We are. And I just realized, like, time is so precious. So why waste it, in low vibe energies or frequencies? Let's go after the dreams that we want. Let's try and pull in, what our hearts are calling for.
Indeed.
So, Christy, we talked about our thoughts and perhaps the words that we use getting in the way of attracting what we desire. What are some practices individuals, perhaps like some other things to look out for that could be keeping them stuck? And then some practices they can maybe implement today to start raising their vibrational frequency.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, there's so many, but like you were mentioning the Desire Factor book, and we have a new book coming out called The Flow Factor in the fall, which I'm very excited about. Same wonderful publisher, Beyond Words, and it is sometimes it is just beyond words of how to help someone connect when they start to feel. Let me just back up. When you start to feel a shift, even like just a little shift from what didn't feel good to now feeling better, feeling a little bit of relief, feeling a little bit of soothing or compassion, right? That's right there will help you shift your entire reality, because we're about to talk about, having a vibration of what you want, that brings it to you, because now you're in resonance with it. You're not pushing against it. You're not in the I'm waiting for it. So if you hear yourself saying, I feel like I'm waiting for something or someone, I'm stuck, any of that type of language, it goes with what we were saying about our words, right? It's like if we are repeating certain thoughts or certain beliefs to ourselves, it's important to know that that's in lack if it doesn't feel good. And so the law of sufficiency and abundance, it's important to understand that there are like 3 levels of or aspects of being. So think of like the first bubble or bucket is lack, where doubt, worry, fear, judgment, criticism, drama, struggle, chaos, just, all that lives there. Blech, right? Don't like it.
Delete.
Part of the human experience, unfortunately, but it's there. And if actually, when you embrace it, when you feel anger, you're like, okay, wait, there's an alarm. What's happening within me? I need to pay attention. Now you don't despise it anymore. I used to despise it.
It's
But
just perception.
yeah, but now there's the middle, which is sufficiency, before you can get to the third aspect or spectrum of emotions, and that's abundance. And the middle part is where satisfaction, gratitude, I'm okay. This is where you're not denying that everything in the world didn't change just because you changed a thought. You're accepting that, okay, I'm going to have to do something, or I'm going to have to be patient, or, I'm going to have to think positive or visualize or do these things. But the energy within me is now excited to move forward. I'm looking forward to something instead of regretting or fearing something. That's a huge difference in the way that we live our lives. So just even that, breathing back into your heart. I mean, always just come back to breath work, come back to your words. I mean, these are literally practical things that when you understand it and then apply it, it makes a huge difference in how you feel. And the feelings are always in the moment anyway. Yeah,
it's so true to take your power back, to stop depending on things outside of yourself to make you feel a certain way, and tune into all these tools and practices we've discussed, the being aware of your thoughts, how you're speaking, maybe meditation, yoga, journaling, visualization, the mirror work, all super, super helpful. Christy, you know, when you start to work with the universe, you have so much faith in what's possible that you almost trust, like, yeah, I know I've, you know, been really tuning into my energy and I'm putting it out there. Like, I believe it's going to happen.
Oh yeah. You see it.
You see it.
You that having is like, I feel it. It's a sense of I already have it with me. So I'm not longing or needing or, you know, trying to cat scratch to go get something. It's already here. I have it.
It's already here. We don't have to know exactly when, just trust.
Yeah.
So as we begin to wrap up, I'm wondering if it would be possible to end with a short guided meditation with you and the council.
Love to. So, all right, go ahead and close your eyes. And if you're driving, listening, go ahead and keep them open, but you can do this visualization as you are doing both, because that's really the goal, is to be in our human bodies, paying attention, being aware, feeling the feels, experiencing all of it, and yet fully embodied in light in our souls. So we are here, and we are happy to guide all of you to yourselves, because that's really what it's all about. Feel yourselves, dear one, with your soul's light. It's like, imagine we are illuminating, putting a flashlight on you, and your soul is showing itself to you. You're feeling connection, whether it's above or below or in front or behind, whether it's within your physical body. Some of you might have your temperature. You might start feeling a little bone chilly, where it's coming from the inside out. Some of you might all of a sudden feel really hot. Just notice what you're noticing about your own body, your own experience. Some of you might feel really safe and really relaxed and really tuned in. Just let all of your tension and tightness in any part of your body just release out. Just imagine like a vacuum. It's all being vacuumed out from your hips, your tailbone, just releasing through the chair that you're sitting on, letting all, just scanning your body, scanning whether your shoulders, your lower back, your knees, any of those parts. Just invite your soul's light in. Invite this, imagine that there is a healing fountain of light that is here with you now. And anytime you want to tune into it, all you do, it's like getting into your own shower at home. You get into it, you turn it on, and you get clean. So same thing here. Just imagine that you are in a shower of light, a shower of healing light, and you are turning on, you're deciding how powerful the pressure is, or what the temperature is. You're turning up. You are calling for the shower head of love. And feel the energy as if love is pouring through you. Or if that's too much all too soon, because that is a pretty amazing vibration, the compassion vibration, letting that energy pour down and letting yourself feel that beautiful compassion, soothing energy, like you're just being healed, and letting any and all parts of yourself that just were holding on to something, just let it go. It's like just a package you've been holding for a while. Just imagine you're putting it down, and whatever it's about, whether it was a man, a woman, or a dog, or a cat, or a boss, or the garbage man, just let your parents, that's a good one. You could just toss it. Don't have to throw it, but just put it down nice and gentle, and imagine that for now you're just letting that go, and you're allowing yourself to fill up even more with compassion, letting yourself fill up even more with healing light, letting whatever part, perspective. Oh, here's a good one for all of you as a basic. the back of your head and neck, we'd like you to imagine that where you can put your finger, if you put your finger back there and you bent your your neck back, it would squish your finger. Right in there, that indentation from the neck or the bottom of the head and the top of the really the spinal cord, right there. Imagine like you're, once again with a faucet, now you're turning the bath, it's like you're turning it on. You're opening it up, like the drain in the bath. Look at it that way. The drain in the bath is opening up. And so this is a release valve. So any pressure in the head, we'll go through all the sorts of stuff that this is good for. This is a really good one to open up and to feel the energy release out the back of the head and neck, because any pressure, headaches, nausea, any sinus pressure, anything that has to do with the eyes, ears, the nose, the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the throat, the expression from an emotional perspective, feeling like you can move forward, anything, including fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all of it will be released, and more will be released out the back of the head and neck. So any pressure, anyone with migraines, anyone with sinus pressure, this is really good as a start for anyone that needs to release any bacteria or viruses or fogginess from any of those things, vaccines or such. So anything, just let all of that go out the back of your head and neck. And as any lower level energy, and you could even command that, anything lower than compassion as a vibration, I am releasing to my soul. And just let yourself fill up with light. Not bad, eh?
Not bad. I
Not
can feel
bad.
your energy through the screen. This has been such an incredible episode, Christy. Thank you so much for sharing your work, your inspiration, your story, and your teachings with us.
We are the council right now, so we will get Christy back. But just saying to you, we are surrounding you and all of your listeners. Thank you for doing what you do. We are surrounding all of you in light and reminding each of you that you are infinitely loved. Be well.
Thank you, Council.
Allow yourselves to just receive a nice, beautiful downpouring of light as you come back to your awareness, as the council's energy is still very much present in the room. And all the awarenesses that you had are very much real. Just let yourself come back into the third dimension, feeling yourself back as now a human with legs and arms and nails and teeth and muscles and opinions and emotions, all the while being connected with your energy field and all things positive, pleasurable, fun as you come back further into the room. Yay.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow. Christy, is there anything you'd like to leave our audience with today?
No, just hopefully you feel a little bit lighter, and it's just that little bit lighter, just that little bit. If we focus on just that little bit, as the council says, now we're in a different place because we're focusing here instead of everything that feels overwhelming. So just by getting into that pocket of, I feel lighter. So how you're feeling now gets to be your new set point, right? It gets to be your new jumping off point. Yeah. And so, letting yourself lean into that little bit better, that lighter, that left me with some more questions. I want to know more, right? Whatever, let yourself be guided to wherever you're being guided, and go along for the ride and enjoy it.
Yeah, the focus on feeling good.
Yeah.
Where can our listeners find you?
You can go to christywhitman.com or watchyourwords.com. I'm also on socials. I am Christy Whitman Official on Instagram and the Christy Whitman on TikTok. So
thank you so much for coming on today. I can't wait to get really clear on my list of desires and start to focus more in on quantum and the energy work. It's totally fascinating. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you too.